So much to tell, Juliana. It's difficult to narrow it all down, but I want to point out something that I think is incredibly significant for the future of U.S. foreign policy in this region, and that is the comments from President Trump that, frankly, I and so many others have been anticipating over the last couple of years. We've really had the chance now to see the Trump doctrine at work, and one of the things that's become very, very apparent is you got to pay to play. Now, it's interesting, if you take a look at those tweets from the president, he went on to say that China gets 91% of its oil from the Strait, as well as Japan. He misspelled Strait, I might add, and many others likewise. And essentially, he said that it's a dangerous journey, and when it comes to being there, the U.S. is being now by far the world's largest energy producer. It doesn't make sense that we would continue to support essentially the movement of crude from this part of the world and other products to Asian markets. Now, this is something, as you know, that I spoke extensively about with the U.S. Special Representative on Iran, Brian Hook, over the weekend. He previewed U.S. sanctions for us. He talked to us about red lines. But at the end of the day, what I found very interesting about this conversation is what he was willing to say about what's going to happen at the G20 later this week. Listen in.
We think that there's an opportunity for countries to play a role contributing to maritime security so that we can deter any future attacks on Iran by Iran on oil tankers.
Are we talking about China potentially? Because at the end of the day, it seems as if the United States is funding the security of oil supplies to Asia.
Well, burden sharing is very important to President Trump, and so we know that.
Pick up some of that price tag.
Well, we'll get into discussions. The G20 is coming up, and so that's a good forum for, I think, leaders to talk about maritime security and freedom of navigation.
Now, in terms of that war of words between Washington and Tehran, I just want to bring up that the foreign minister of Iran, Javad Zarif, essentially came out very, very shortly thereafter the president's tweets and said, Donald Trump is 100% right that the U.S. has no business in the Persian Gulf. Now, this would upend years, decades of foreign policy in this region coming from the United States. We're, of course, here not just to support those shipping lanes, but also in terms of the security of our Gulf Arab allies like Saudi Arabia, like the UAE. We're here in Manama, Bahrain. This is, of course, the location of the U.S. Fifth Fleet and the trillions of dollars that are spent every single year to keep the Fifth Fleet operational, patrolling those coastlines and keeping the Strait clear. So this is certainly something that's very, very much on the minds of the folks attending this Peace to Prosperity conference, no doubt. Hey, everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now, to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.